fairyland. It's Tea with Tamara.
Care Bear Stare. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm very excited because you can kind of look over here. No, wrong way. You can kind of see the edge of my phone in this little window here. And that's because I have a tripod for Insta stories. And so I feel like I'm more like in the zone of both of these things. Small things bring great joy, but I kind of want to talk about a segue and movement from where we were last week when we were talking about the voices in our heads and the power of the voice in getting through really understanding which voices are ours and which aren't. But even before this, like starting today, there is one thing that you can do to impact and change everything moving forward. And this is the number one step of self-care. And if you skip this step of self-care, then really none of the rest makes sense or even matters. And I want to give you an example of that because the first step of self-care and the most important step of self-care is the words that we use with ourselves. And I mean out loud in a day before we even do all the other amazing things with our self-care routine, whether we're meditating, whether we're doing affirmations and gratitude journals and all of the good, juicy, amazing things that you see all of these successful entrepreneurs and people in the world doing. You're like, yeah, if I do these things, if I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I do this entire routine, then I too can be successful as all other people are successful in this world. And you can, and you 100% can. So long as you're not negating everything that you are doing. Because why would we want to do that? We're going to create this incredible, like high vibration frequency first thing in the morning, and then all day, the words that we're choosing to say and use about ourselves are going to slowly take this beautiful high vibration and be like, bam, 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 bam. So for example, I'm going to use some affirmations that I personally use when they come to me in a day, and then I'm going to show you and tell you so you have real life like examples of how actually you change and shift that vibration from being a high vibe to a low vibe. So like if you're like, I'm ready to take control of my day. All of these people talk about, like if you've read The Big Leap and you've heard of this Einstein time thing and you're like, I'm going to be the master of my own time. That's right. I'm going to get a schedule going. I'm going to write everything out in a day. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I am the master of my time. And then throughout the day, you start to get frazzled and you're like, geez, there's never enough time in the day. Or, you're getting phone calls from people, family, friends. And they're like, do you want to go for coffee? Do you want to go for tea? Do you want to help me go here? Do you want to pick this up for me? And you go, guilt, shame. Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I'd love to. And inside, this is the polar opposite of the affirmation. I am the master of my own time. And yet you're saying yes, that's a word that you're using to really shift the boundary that you were setting for yourself. Or you're saying, I don't have enough time. And as soon as that happens, that affirmation no longer is valid. You've just declared to the universe that you feel that you don't have enough time, which then, of course, is going to be like, universe is going to be like, what? You don't have enough time? Let me take some more time away from you. Because the universe is just only listening to the words that we speak. Another example of this is you write things that are like super juicy. I'm a money magnet. Money flows to me with ease. All of these amazing things. I love money. Money loves me. And you're like, this is so great. I'm doing these affirmations. Things are going to be wonderful. And then you hear yourself throughout the day say, I only get people who don't have money. When I get on a call with somebody, they always say at the end, I don't have any money. Or there's the space where, and this is my all-time favorite, there's just no money in Niagara. Niagara just doesn't have any money. Like I live in a place where people don't spend this kind of money, right? And all of these things that you're physically saying, energetically putting it out into the world, but yet in the morning, you're like, I'm a money magnet. So the first stage of this is that you need to be conscious of the actual words that you're saying. You could be writing in your affirmations or saying it, or, doing the self-care routine and meditation to say, I am an abundant, energetic being. I am vibrant all the time. However it is that you want to be saying that you are an energized being, so that you're not feeling like you're depleted at the end of the day. Yet, one of the things that you say all day long is, I'm tired. Right? Or I'm exhausted. Or somebody says, how are you? And you're like, oh, I'm okay, I'm good. And right then and there, that vibration that you've been setting and you're declaring first thing in the morning in your morning routine, or in however you're doing it, maybe it's at night, sinks down to meet the words that you're placing out energetically into this world, right? And so we want to be very conscious of the words we speak. Because if you're going to be doing this incredible work with the morning routines, with setting yourself up for success, for doing all of the pieces that everybody says, oh, if you do these things, things become easy, right? Everybody says, yeah, but I want things to be easy, right? These people say things are easy. Do you want to know what makes it easy? And I'm just being straight with you guys, is when you learn the physical language, right? How you speak to yourself in the universe. And then you open yourself up to remove the voices inside of you that just aren't serving you, whether they came from past, whether they're from current, whether they're anything, but they're not your voices. You get those puppies right out of here. Like, they're not useful to you at all. Right? And then you get to this beautiful space of knowing that what you are receiving in the first thing that you receive, because if you are saying, and this is another one of these things, man, I just wish Source would speak to me. Everybody who has this thing where they're like, oh, sources, they're so connected. Like, I feel super connected, but I listen to everything I hear. And if you really want to be successful in that space of being source guided, then you need to trust the first thing that you hear. Because if you're like, hey, like I did, hey, why am I having such a hard time keeping money in my bank account? That was my question. I go into meditation, they show me the answer. The answer was, when I was 10 and my sister moved out, my mom was sad, and I started to buy her things and try very hard to uplift her, right? And so I believed that money was spent in the service of raising somebody else's mood. I truly, truly anchored into that thought and belief. And so I can see it as being exactly what's happening and playing out in my life today. So I accept what Spirit gave me, boom, right away, no questions asked. Same thing as when Spirit says, if you're like, is this a good thing for me to do in my business? Whether it's working with a coach, whether it's, looking at a website, whatever, you're going to say, like, is this the best decision for me? And you'll get an instantaneous response. It will be a yes, it'll be a no, hard yes, hard no, whatever, right? And then you get in here and you're like, oh no, I don't think so. Well, what about the cost? What about this? What about that? Yeah. Guess what? You ain't listening to what Source is bringing you. You're like, I want to have a Source conversation, but the first answer is the right answer. It's exactly what your body and your spirit is trying to tell you. And then you get into your head with the words. And these are things that you physically say and you write. You're like, I would like this to happen, and this to happen, this to happen. And then you're like, yeah, Spirit doesn't talk to me. I don't know what anybody else is talking about, right? So it's the language so put the things in place. All of the things that successful people do. Do it up the yin yang, right? But be conscious of the first phase, which is the words that are coming out of your mouth. Clear out all of the other people's voices, right? And then open yourself up to receive. And receive is the voice of Spirit, whether it's abundance, clients, anything that is going to magnify this amazing new language that you're speaking with the universe, right? Because we can write it one way all we want, but if the words that are coming out of our mouth and the universe is hearing is far from, and this goes to, and this is the last thing I'll talk about, is your physical selves. Like, let's start there as well. So if you are at that space where, I want to be seen, I want my business to be seen, I want my company to be seen, I want all of this stuff to come in, and yet you're not looking at yourself in the mirror. You can't look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. You can't say, I love you just the way you are, perfectly perfect as you were created, without any, I think, like not losing 10 pounds, not, you know, gaining more muscle, not anything else, but just as you currently are today, then you're not setting yourself up to being fully seen in the practice of your business and by your clients. So you got to get really good at like going like, I love you just as you are. You were created in this likeness by spirit so that the exact person that you are here to serve can see you and sense you and pick up what you're putting down without any difference to who you are. So this is an exciting day because now you have it, the anchoring piece to the puzzle, like the one that you can build. It's like, you know, when you start the puzzle and you got that corner piece and you know if you can get that started on either side, right, then all the rest of the puzzle fits. So I hope you have a magical day and become very conscientious of your thoughts as you are saying them out of your mouth and not declaring to the universe the polar opposite of what it is that you actually intend to want and desire. And if you ever have any questions, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You know how much I love you all. And thank you, everybody. I can't wait to get to the comments. When I get on a rampage, I can't stop talking. So I'll get to everybody's comments. And if you come in late and you want to catch this at a later time, you can always go to www.youtube.com/Tamara Arnold and find all of the Tea with Tamaras and access all the information and all the magic there. And I hope you guys have the most spectacular day in this glorious sunny weather. And I'm going to send you the largest Care Bear stare of love from my heart to yours. And on a side note, if you go to the YouTube channel, I do have a really funky, awesome, like lead-in song to the videos. So it's super fun to watch them there because you get to hear it. And I actually say Care Bears there in my little opening song that my husband made. Magical day. Love you, love you, love you.